Welcome back to Is This Thing On with Steve Stanulis right now. We have an amazing show so far. The tweets keep coming in. And we got Joanne from Kansas wants to see a racial presidential debate. A racial presidential debate. What do you think, guys? You think we can pull this one off?
Think we can?
What do you think over there, guys? Think so?
Yeah.
You heard it. Let's go. A presidential racial debate right here on Is This Thing On?
Hello and welcome to PBS's Great Debates. I'm your host, James Worthington, and I'll be bringing out two potential presidential candidates to debate on topics that deal with our country. Let's bring out our first candidate, Mr. Jon Stewart from Massachusetts.
Thank you very much. God bless America. God bless from Maine to Florida, from Nevada to Texas, from Oregon to Illinois, and every single Great Lake. And all our great rivers. God bless every body of water in America.
And Mr. John Worthington from Texas.
Patty,
Pleasure, mate.
do you mind if I call you Duber?
I would prefer you not.
All right, I'll call you. Stick with Duber then. Nice to meet you, young man. Nice to meet you. Good evening, Americans. Today is a great day to be an American. The guns, the freedom, the air.
Okay, so let's get this debate started. I'll get a question that we got from our listeners. And you guys, I'll give you, John, you can start first. And John, you'll be second, okay?
Seeing as how it might get a little confusing, both being called John, I suppose I wouldn't object to be calling Duba just for tonight.
Okay,
But
Sounds
Duba.
good to me.
it's important that it doesn't stick. I'm not a Duba. I'm a John. But Duba's fine for now.
Duber fits.
It doesn't, but I'm a compromiser, and so I'm willing to go with it for the next 45 minutes.
I love America.
I love
Okay.
America. I wish I had the proportions of a giant, so I could give all of America a giant bear hug. I also wish that I was see-through and transparent, so that I wouldn't hurt all my beloved Americans as I gave it a giant bear hug.
If there was a bear attacking Americans, I would get out my gun and shoot it.
I would sit down with the bear, see what was important to it as an animal, and negotiate a peaceful truce.
Okay,
A peaceful truce.
peaceful truce.
I love the troops. America does not back down from a fight. What's your question?
Okay, where do you stand on money issues across the United States?
Well, I think money is a great thing. Money provides you with freedom. Those who do not have money should have money. My opponent, respectfully, does not believe in the same things. He believes that the money that you earn should be given away to people that do not have money. Whereas I believe that if you have money, you should have your money, and you should buy as many guns as possible with that money. You should also shoot as many things with said guns that you have bought with said money. And you should get in lots of houses. Play lots of golf. Enjoy the open American air. And enjoy your freedom. Thank you. God bless America.
Duber John?
America has a long history of not treating its people fairly. We are a nation coming from a history of slavery. Were I elected president, I would melt down all guns and munitions and also tear apart all abandoned houses and convert them into a form of usable currency. I would henceforth pump that excess currency into underprivileged areas where those young Americans who have been left behind can go out and spend a nice house sickle on a Tootsie Roll.
I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt, but Duber, that is just not true. That is untrue. You have a history, a reckless history, of melting down guns and giving it to yourself. How do you stand on that? God bless America.
This is a postulatical theory. I've never actually melted down a gun. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I have a fireplace in my home, and sure, I've melted things on accident, but I've never actually taken a firearm and putting it in a fireplace. That would be irresponsible and dangerous, and frankly, I'd be afraid that it might go off and damage my beautiful masonry, which is fantastic.
Duber, that is just not true. I have evidence from the Onion that said that you did melt down a gun and you gave it to yourself. Now, what do you say to those accusations, sir?
I would say liar, liar, pants on fire. Next question, please.
Okay. Why do white people sometimes shit green?
I'd like to start that question by answering something that my opponent Duber said. My pants are definitely not on fire. I would like to make that perfectly clear. My pants are cool.
I would beg to
I
differ.
have, excuse me,
I would say
one at a time.
I would say your pants are certainly inflamed.
My pants
With
are
lies.
porous. They are very breathable.
Why don't you answer that man's question? Duba? I henceforth like to be called John and suggest that my opponent be called Duba for the duration of this debate.
I object. I used to be a lawyer 1 week. I did drop out of college to serve in this great Coast Guard of America.
I'd like to see the transcripts of that, Duba. Let me field this question. As a white American, sure, there's been times where I've defecated and it's been green. Is that because I've consumed large amounts of paper money? I'll be honest. I have. Do I regret it? Yes. Would that money have been better spent in the hands of an underprivileged child? Sure. Why did I eat it? Frankly, I was afraid. Afraid of what? Frankly, I'm not sure. But it seemed at the time that the only way to get those creeping fears out of my mind was to just take a big old pile of Benjamins, grill them up on a George Foreman, and just go to town on them with a side of tater skins. Transparency is what you're gonna get with this, Duba. I can't say the same for that, Duba.
Okay. Next question. Let's just move right on. Why do white people let their dogs lick them in their face, knowing damn well that their dog's tongue was in their ass minutes prior?
I would like to answer that question after I answer the question and propose the statement that I would feel that it should be made illegal to eat money. You should never grill money, ever. Money should be spent on the United States military, government. I love my dog. God bless America.
All right. I grew up in an area heavily populated by stray and rabid dogs. Now, are those dogs oftentimes in the process of cleaning and feasting on each other because there's not enough food in the surrounding area? Sure they are. Now, would I deny a dog the common right of human affection simply because it was too rabid or stray to know the difference and to clean out its fellow canine friends with its own tongue? No, I would not. Just as I would not turn away a young American child for being born into a house in which guns are not accepted as a form of currency. And after I melt down most of this country's firearms and turn them into interchangeable paper money will become an edible source of delicacies.
I would just like to interject and say that is the core difference between me and my opponent Duber. I believe any stray dog should be shot with guns. Many, many guns. And paper money should be outlawed. You're shameful. Shameful. Shameful.
You got a tale of two Dubas here, America. One who's transparent, one who supports the consumption of paper money, one who has never turned away a stray dog just because his tongue smelled a little bit like an anus, and one who would give you a giant, transparent bear hug were he large enough to do so. The other of which would not.